So, if you've already watched my unboxing experience, this is just going to be a quick overview of the phone itself. So, as you can see, let's talk about the hardware first. It runs on 6.2 inches, 1440p resolution display, pretty solidly made, and the main thing that you'd notice about this phone is definitely the screen itself. So, the screen, and then I'll talk about the CPU specifications, which is basically the Exynos version, because in India, countries like India get only the Exynos version. So there are countries which get the Snapdragon variant, so that will definitely be something that they will have to. I do not have a Snapdragon device with me, so my impressions will definitely vary with respect to performance and battery life. Then again, the rest of the things should be similar, so you could expect consistency in that particular way. So, so apart from the screen, I really think the viewing angles are pretty darn good. This is an AMOLED panel, so you can actually see that the viewing angles are pretty darn decent. It doesn't seem to lose any consistency at any edge-to-edge scenario, so it isn't like a normal SLCD display that you get on many phones. And on the back you have the fingerprint sensor, the camera, and the flash for the camera, which is basically this little guy. And below that, this particular sensor is the heart rate sensor that you have on the phone. And in the front, I'll give you a quick glance at let's say the iris kind of comes somewhere here. This is the earpiece. You have the front facing camera, which is an 8 megapixel unit, and it captures pretty good stills. apart from that apart from that, you get the all important audio jack at the bottom. How important is that for some people? I think it's very, very important that audio jacks be given importance, because you can at least listen to music on your phone while you're charging the phone, because I don't see any point of having USB-C to 3.5mm adapter and then going through that, because I really like sometimes if the phone runs out of juice, you'd have to stop listening to music. There are options. For example, you could use a Bluetooth earphone, but if you have good buds or earphones or headphones for that matter, you will definitely find the need for a headphone jack to be pretty darn high at your priority list. So, apart from that, um, the phone feels really solidly made. The build quality is pretty seamless. I could probably show you a few things with respect to software as well in this particular phone. So let's take a quick look at the software. So with respect to software, the phone runs on Android Nougat, and that's the version 7.0. And apparently, there are builds with 7.1.2 out on the net, and some custom ROMs definitely have 7.1.2. The good thing with the Exynos version is definitely that the bootloader is unlocked, so you can flash a custom ROM out of the box. So that's one of the advantages of having an unlocked phone, especially the Exynos variant. And then again, the other things is that it's built on top of Samsung UX 8.1. So people do have their own pet peeves with TouchWiz, and now that it's called Samsung Experience, that's basically no difference in that. It's just lighter. It seems to be less intrusive than the previous models. I mean, previous iterations of TouchWiz that we have seen so far, and there are plenty of good options now. So other than that, we'd focus on other customizations that we have. For example, there are good gestures that I really appreciate. For example, the edge panel is something that I really, really like, and you need to access it by actually going over here and pulling the edge panel very, very slowly. So difficult to do with one hand, but I guess we'll manage. So you can see the various touch panels that you can use on your phone. So you aren't just limited to these. You can go ahead and customize them. For example, you can go ahead and reorder them, or perhaps use ones which you have already on the phone. You don't get these many. You need to go and download them from the page, and I've synced it up with Wi-Fi now, so you can actually see all the options that you have. You have plenty of edge bars that you could use, so it really depends on your preference. So yeah, so you can go ahead and download any of these, and you can probably let's just try. Let's just say that I want edge board, for example. I'm downloading this particular edge bar now. So once that is downloaded, you will be able to see a confirmation here, and it will show up on the edge panels. So after that, all that you have to do is go and enable that. So if you can go and see here, you can see that you'll have your edge options here. So that's what was it called? It was called the edge board, right? So you go ahead and click on the edge board, and now this will show up on your edge bar. So that's how it works. So you can go and see here. So yeah, I already have a few edge bars of mine, so this is basically the edge board. So okay, so this is the edge board of itself. So another thing is that when notifications come, so the screen does get minimized. So I'm just going to turn Wi-Fi off very quickly, and let's get back to watching the edge panels. So yes, so this is the edge board. You can actually see pretty clearly. So yeah, that's about it. So apart from this customization, there are plenty of other options that you have. So in short, the other option that you have is Bixby, the new built-in assistant. Definitely pretty clunky with the current implementation. I think it definitely can be improved, and I think Samsung is definitely doing it from their own end. But one other thing that I really wanted to say was that the volume rockers are here. You have a power button on this side, and then you have a dedicated Bixby button here. This particular button, let's just say that it would have been a great option if we could remap it, for example launching our own apps from this particular button. For example, I'd really fancy having a camera button here, because it would make a great deal of sense for me to be able to launch a camera button camera from here, instead of having to go through the power button, press twice, and so on and so forth, having to deal with that. But then again, it's just a pet peeve. I think I really would like an option from Samsung to allow me to tweak this particular button. So apart from that, I think I'm really satisfied with the phone, and the battery life is something that I'll talk about again. And you can actually see, let me get this phone on. Let's take a quick look at the battery life. It should be under device maintenance, battery, and as you can see, this is without the power saver enabled. So this is just the raw usage that I'm going to show you. Go and click on battery usage. Here you can see that it's run nearly 19 hours 10 minutes on the battery, and screen seems to be the topmost power sucker, literally. So that's how it is on most of the phones. So apart from other phones where I've seen the Android system be on top, but then again, it's just the software related tweaks that need to be made. I think Samsung has done a good job with the Android base here at 7.0, and as you can see, the screen on time is around 5 hours 35 minutes, and I still have around 30% left. So you can imagine it's going to last me around 7 hours or 7.5 hours. I think it's pretty darn good if you ask me. Then there are lots of other things that I could talk about. For example, the camera is something I really enjoyed. It's a new sensor, so it's not the old one that you have on the S7 Edge. So we need to keep that in mind when you basically get this phone out. It does seem to highlight the contrast, and colors seem to be slightly saturated, but that's nothing you can't fix, right? So you could go ahead and choose to take the photos and then edit them afterwards. So that's just one of the options. I think I can do a more in-depth comparison if need be, but this is just going to be a topmost impressions that I have of my phone. So yeah, I think Samsung has done a good job with this particular phone. So other than that, I think that Samsung could definitely think about, let's just say, the fingerprint sensor position, because I find that to be slightly cumbersome to use, because I'm a lefty and I find it hard to bend my finger this way and reach the sensor at the left position. Had it been slightly central, let's just say slightly lower, it would have made a lot of sense, especially since the phone is literally long because of the skewed aspect ratio. This is 18:9 and not 16:9. So that's something that people might like to keep in mind. But other than that, it's a really good phone, and I really recommend people looking for a good device in the market, especially flagships, to go take a look at this. It is imperfect, but I think it's close to perfect. So that's my whole idea on it. So if you really enjoy this review, just let me know. Maybe if you'd really like me to do tech reviews later, I would take a look at them as well. So currently I'm doing it with this Paz, just an action camera for now. So once I get my shooting equipment, I could possibly do a slightly better job maybe. So if you like this, leave a thumbs up and do subscribe. Stay tuned. Take care and bye bye.